So each week I drive over to Lexington and spend a day at the Akhal-Teke Foundation, and you never know what we'll get into with their horses, but it's always something good. So thanks for coming along today. Heading over to the big barn, which is where most of the magic happens here.
Turns out what we got into this day was the beginning steps of what I do instead of lunging, which is to send a horse out on a circle and not do it with driving energy from behind, but in having them think forward and go out on that circle. And I wanted you to get a quick glimpse of what it looks like when this is starting to come together and work. And the video following with Tia is going to show you how I get started. So here's what it should look like at the end. Just finished working with Tia, and today what we were exploring is getting her to be able to take her mind and thoughts away from me and then come back to me with her mind and thoughts, and then to add movement to her mind and thoughts, and to be directed and to try to not drive her into that movement. And so what we're gonna play around with is you'll see me asking her to look and then asking her to start to move in the direction she's looking. And then when I'm struggling to get her moving, she gets a little sticky. I'm gonna use my flag, hopefully not to drive too much, but more like an incentive to try to start thinking forward. Because when we ride her, we're gonna need all those things working. Good girl. Good horsemanship is about all the interactions that we have with our horse and how we approach them. And here I want to emphasize that it's not just about the topic of the day, but it starts when we first go into the field. And all these interactions are really important. I love how Tia came down to greet me, but here it's clear she is not ready to put her head in that halter and work together yet. This is how she really feels at the moment, and that's important information for me. I don't want to skip that by throwing a rope over her neck and thinking that the work begins when the halter is put on her. A few sessions back when we were more new in our connection, Tia and I spent an hour in the field where I gave her a lot of choice to be haltered or not be haltered, and it took about an hour for her to really say yes. And so it was paid off in spades, because you'll see here when I get behind her, I'm behind her on purpose. I didn't go straight up to her, I walked behind her. You'll see in a moment that it makes her have to make a choice, and there she does. This is what I want to see. That's the horse I want to work with today. Even though she's come up to me, she's calmer now, she's interacting instead of a flyby, which is the first thing I got. I want her to participate in getting that halter on. And so I'm going to continue to offer that halter in a moment. See, I put my hand around her neck. And I'm going to wait for her to participate. So she's still not there mentally. Not there. Not there. Not yet. She's a little frustrated with me. Just do it. That's what I'm looking for. For her to just offer her head down and say yes. She's still a little young, and I love that she's got all these pieces of her personality developing. The next thing I'm going to check into before we even get to the topic at hand, and this is really important, is she with me? And you see right now she's kind of just looking out around. She's looking past me. She's thinking about the flag, which we've worked with many times. And I won't get anywhere until that horse has a little more focus on me. Oh, see, she kind of gives me a moment, then takes in something else, gives me a moment. I want to see her centered up with me mentally, or it's pointless to get started today. Also, we're going to be doing some work with the flag today to create a forward thought, and I want to double check in with the flag and how she feels about it, and make sure that we continue to erase any anxiety issues, that flag isn't here to hurt her. It's just can rub her all over and she can be okay with it. I want her to move around a little while I'm doing this, not just freeze and shut down. I'm paying attention to her reaction to that and if she can be okay with it. And this is just a flag check-in. So I suggest doing that if you're going to use a flag and you haven't used a flag much.
Here is how I begin an approach to what other people might look at as lunging. But I don't want to drive her off into a circle. I could do that really easy. She would respond quickly if I just reached out and drove her. But first I want her to look where she's going. That's really important to me. I don't want her driving off fleeing. I want her guiding into where her thoughts, where they're going. So then I ask her to look and start to walk. That's the beginning of our circle. I don't want to get moving too far before I ask her to come back. This is not just trying to get her body running around me in a circle. I want her mind to stay with me. That's why I do a small few steps and then a return. If we can get the start of this right, then we can continue on the rest. So here I ask her to look, and she's a little stuck. See that hind foot cocked? She's a little stuck here. I'm going to support and help her to start to look. That's what I want. Good look, and then go towards your thoughts. Small steps, and then return. Again, I don't want her running off in autopilot. I want her connected to me little bits of the way. So here I ask her again, can she look? She doesn't really know this yet, so we have a lot of patience, and a little look is a great start. I reward each tiny step. Good girl. It's a tiny look. And then I ask her again, can you look? She might need a little support there, a little help. Yep, a little help. What are you asking? I'll give you a little hint, a little help. I want her to look away. That's better. Good job. Look, and then take some movement towards that look. That's the beginning of our circle. Here, I'm going to ask her to keep walking, and she looks to me for some help. I have to give her a little reassurance. Girl, you are not in trouble. You're doing a great job. Just go ahead and walk forward. Here is where we get a little sticky. Though she comes out of it okay. Good girl. I'm going to be using my flag today to work on a forward thought. And the first step is to get her to be able to just walk with that flag rubbing her where the rider would be. Then when she stops, I lift my hand first, and then I lift the flag. Not to drive her eventually, but in order to get her thinking when that flag goes up. And when I do it, I don't fling it. You notice the flag lifts up and down in a really controlled motion. It's not like a whipping motion. It's controlled up and down. This is a tool that's going to get her thinking. There's a annoying thing happening up there, but there shouldn't be any fear involved that it's going to chase her or whip her. In fact, when it lands on her, it's controlled enough to where it doesn't create any impact or like that whipping that a drive would. And I like doing this in the beginning where the rider would be sitting, because eventually that's where the impulses of what we're going to be doing should be coming from. And you can see here, she is clearly not in fear of that flag, but the hope is it creates a disturbance in her environment enough to get her thinking, what do I do about it? She's doing pretty well with it right now, so I give her a little break and ask her to check back in with me. Here we'll go again. The look is good, but she's sticky. This is what I'm trying to work on today, and it's a long-term question that we've had is she gets sticky. And if she's sticky here on the ground, we're going to have to deal with this in the saddle eventually. I'd rather start working on it here than have to be sitting on her and starting a fight. So when she gets sticky, first I always ask with my hand, and then I start to lift that flag and ask her to think. And there she goes. Forward thought, sticky, and still asking. And I persist in this. I try not to get pushing on her, but she's getting a little frustrated. There it is. So I want to talk about the importance of tolerating that flag touching her in the place where the rider would be. This little filly doesn't love having to walk around with an annoying flag rubbing on her back behind the withers. But the importance of just getting her to tolerate that is eventually, clearly, somebody will be sitting there and she will have to tolerate not only seeing things visually behind her, but the feel of a saddle and a rider. And so asking her to just be able to tolerate that flag touching her while she walks is important in the step towards eventually riding. And here you can see she's starting to relax into this process a little more. You see the ask is first always, then the flag support. Sometimes I don't even have to bring it all the way up. And now she's starting to get this and put the pieces together in motion, which is exactly what we want to see. And she's relaxed about it. Her eye is soft. She's not stressed. She's just learning this process. And I'm really pleased with how we ended here. As I take the halter off, what I love to see is when the horses will hang around and not just run off to find their friends. She seems relaxed and content to just hang out. So that's a good work session. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to continue to watch how these horses develop at the Akhal-Teke Foundation, and we hope to see you around real soon.